People are now leaving behind the glitter of Delhi and Mumbai and settling in smaller cities. Why has the biggest retirement trend changed? Imagine this: 30 to 35 years of life went by in jobs, business, traffic, deadlines, and EMIs. Every morning was filled with horns, smoke, crowds, and constant rushing around. Then one day retirement comes close, and you begin to think about where you finally want to spend the rest of your life. Earlier, the answer used to be simple: big cities like Delhi, Mumbai, and Bengaluru, because that is where the hospitals are, the airport is, the market is, the lifestyle is. But now the picture is changing. Now, the fear is something else. The fear is that if, even after retirement, you still get the same traffic, the same pollution, the same expensive rent, the same high medical bills, and the same loneliness, then what will be left of the meaning of this second innings? And this is where the curiosity begins. Why are people now looking beyond the shine of the metros and turning towards cities like Dehradun, Indore, Chandigarh, Mysuru, and Bhubaneswar? Is this only a matter of lower cost, or is the entire retirement equation in India changing? The truth is, this change did not appear out of thin air. India's aging population and the demand for senior living are both rising rapidly. According to Savills India's 2025 report, India's senior living segment is moving toward a major investment cycle between 2025 and 2030, and this sector may need billions of dollars in investment over the next few years. On the other hand, market research estimates are showing that India's senior living market may reach around $5 billion in 2026 and may grow rapidly by 2031. This means retirement is no longer just the old model of we will live with the children. It has now become a combined decision involving housing, healthcare, community, and affordability. Earlier, metro cities were preferred for retirement because they seemed to offer opportunity, facilities, and social status altogether. But after retirement, priorities change. Now salary no longer comes in, and the discipline of fixed income or pension takes over. Now office distance is no longer important, hospital distance becomes important. Now nightlife does not matter, sleep quality matters. Now network does not matter, neighborhood matters. This shift in priorities has given smaller and relatively calmer cities a new advantage. And that is the biggest twist in today's retirement story. The cities that were once considered small are now beginning to feel balanced. The biggest problem of metro cities is not just inflation, but the combined cost of living. According to JLL India's 2025 housing data, the share of homes priced at 1 crore and above rose sharply, and in H1 2025, around 62% of total housing sales went into this category. In Q4 2025 too, the share of premium housing reached 63%. This does not directly mean that every house has become worth 1 crore, but it certainly makes one thing clear: the housing market of big cities is steadily becoming more premium and more expensive. When a retiring middle-class family sees that buying or maintaining a decent house in a metro can heavily burden its savings, its eyes naturally turn towards cities where the house may be a little more open, the cost a little lower, and life a little easier. That is why, in retirement planning today, the question of where was the money earned has become less important than where will life be lived. The 2026 price trends on housing portals show this gap very clearly. For example, in Dehradun, the average residential asking price was shown at around 747 per square FT, in Indore around 5818 per square FT, in Bhubaneswar around 7226 per square FT, and in Mysuru around 9968 per square FT. In contrast, in a comparatively premium non-metro market like Chandigarh, the average price was shown at around 21342 per square FT, while in the central parts of New Delhi the average price was around 19892 per square FT. And in many major areas of Mumbai, rates appeared between 20,000 and 30,000 per square FT, or even higher. That means not all tier 2 cities are equally cheap, but the broad trend is that many smaller cities are offering better value for space compared to metros. That is why, for retirement, people are now looking not just at house price, but at lifestyle per rupee. If someone gets a compact apartment in Mumbai, then in Dehradun or Bhubaneswar, within that same broad budget, they may find the option of more open space, a balcony, greenery, or independent style living. In cities like Indore and Mysuru, the housing market still offers segments where a middle-class retiree can make a decision without complete financial dependency on their children. This psychological relief is also a very big thing. After retirement, the biggest piece does not come only from lower expenses, it comes from control. Control over one's savings, one's house, and one's daily routine. Now let us talk about the cities whose names are being discussed the most. It would not be correct to say that Dehradun, Indore, Chandigarh, Mysuru, and Bhubaneswar are part of any official government top 5 retirement cities list, because I did not find any such universal official ranking.
But in senior living coverage, real estate commentary, and retirement-oriented market discussions, the names of these cities keep coming up again and again. The reasons are almost the same: relative affordability, manageable size, improving infrastructure, cleaner environment in parts of the city, and comparatively lower daily life stress. In other words, these cities are becoming symbols of the trend. They are not necessarily winners of some fixed ranking. It is not difficult to understand the appeal of Dehradun. In this capital of Uttarakhand, you get a rare combination of proximity to the hills, a relatively softer pace of life, and physical access from NCR. In the 2026 housing data, Dehradun's average property price appears to be around 7417 per square FT, which is far below many major metros. The nearby road upgrades and Uttarakhand corridor projects are also strengthening the connectivity narrative. Yes, it is also true that some premium pockets of Dehradun are now becoming expensive very quickly, so those who go there assuming it is very cheap need to study the city locality by locality. But from a retirement lens, Dehradun's strongest point is not price alone, but the climate-lifestyle blend. The story of Indore is a little different. Here, it is not hill station charm, but the angle of urban efficiency and livability that is stronger. According to housing data, Indore's average asking price is around 5818 per square feet, which makes it accessible compared to many larger cities. But at the same time, according to recent reporting by Times of India from April 2nd, 026, collector guideline rates in the district rose on average by as much as 26%. This means that Indore is no longer just a cheap city, but also a market that is appreciating quickly. For retirees, this has a double implication. Entry today may be relatively manageable, but in the coming time, the affordability window here too may gradually narrow. Many people place Chandigarh in a separate category for retirement. Because of its city planning, greenery, orderliness, and North India connectivity, it has remained attractive for a long time. But Chandigarh's case is a little nuanced. According to the 2026 housing trends, the average asking price here is around 21,342 per square FT, which makes it much more expensive than the other tier 2 examples. That means Chandigarh may be a retirement destination, but not a budget destination. Its value lies in peaceful urban design, healthcare access, regional connectivity, and a familiar North Indian ecosystem, not in cheapness. That is why Chandigarh may appeal to those retirees who have a somewhat better corpus and want a chaos-free, structured city. The popularity of Mysuru is built on these three things: affordability, culture, and pace. According to 2026 housing data, the average property price in Mysuru is around 9968 per square FT, while in some localities, it may be lower or higher. In 2025, the Mysuru division recorded record railway passenger revenue and 3.46 crore annual passenger traffic, which supports the transport mobility of the city and region. Air connectivity is also limited but functional. Updates such as Hyderabad route schedule revisions at Mysuru airport show that the airlink ecosystem is gradually evolving operationally. That means Mysuru's strength is not that it has become a metro like Bengaluru, but that it is improving connectivity while preserving its slower identity. Bhubaneswar too is quietly becoming a powerful case. According to housing data, the average property price here is around 7226 per square FT, and citywide rates are below many metros. On the other hand, Biju Patnaik International Airport recorded annual traffic of 51 lakh passengers in 2025, which strengthens the city connectivity narrative. That means Bhubaneswar is moving beyond its old image of being a faraway or less connected city, because it is the capital of Odisha. Institutional presence, civic infrastructure, and regional importance also become support factors here. From the retirement angle, this city offers a balanced middle ground between affordability and access. There is also a psychological reason behind this trend, something that numbers alone cannot capture. After retirement, people do not just want low cost, they want a low friction life. In big cities, if even going for groceries, a doctor's visit, bank work, a social outing, or a park walk starts feeling like a planning exercise, life begins to feel tiring. In smaller cities, distances are shorter, familiar faces are more common, and community life forms a little more naturally. Savills and senior living related reports indicate that in India, the demand for senior housing is no longer just for shelter, but for dignity, community, wellness, and a support ecosystem. In other words, retirees are not choosing only a house, they are choosing a whole environment. That is why the elder care and senior living ecosystem is also moving toward tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Industry commentary points out that the supply of senior living in India is still limited, but demand is spreading rapidly, especially in those cities where healthcare is improving, civic infrastructure is stable, and land economics are not as overheated as in metros. The possibility of dedicated retirement communities, assisted living models, and age-friendly housing is much greater. This trend is not only for rich retirees. Middle-class families too are now beginning to see the formula of smaller city, better life, manageable medical access as a serious option. Still, the other side of this story is equally important. Settling in smaller cities is not a perfect decision for everyone. Healthcare is still the biggest filter. Some tier 2 markets do have good multi-specialty hospitals, but super specialty care, advanced oncology, complex cardiac intervention, or niche geriatric support are not equally strong everywhere. That is why retirement experts often advise that before looking at property, first look at the city's healthcare map. The nearest tertiary hospital, emergency response time, diagnostics ecosystem, regular doctor availability, and airport or rail link. In other words, shifting only because the house is cheap is not a smart move. It has to be a balanced move. In the same way, the social ecosystem is no less important. Many people do move from a metro to a smaller city, but after a few months they begin to feel cultural adjustment issues, a limited peer network, or boredom. That is why, while choosing a retirement city, one should see not just the property, but what daily life there will actually be like. Are there parks there? Is there a base of friends or relatives there? Are there senior activity groups, temples, clubs, libraries, walking communities, or volunteer ecosystems? India's retirement trend is no longer a purely real estate trend. It is a quality of life trend. And the equation of quality of life is slightly different for every individual. Even so, the market direction is clearly visible. JLL's housing data shows premium urban pressure, Savil's report shows a structural rise in senior living demand, and multiple city-level price trends show that non-metro India has now become a serious part of the retirement conversation. In some places, property prices have already started rising. In some places, connectivity is improving rapidly. And in some places, senior-focused living models are slowly taking shape. That means the trend we are seeing today is not an isolated lifestyle choice, but a broader demographic and economic shift. Perhaps in the coming years, India's retirement map may change completely. The way careers were earlier built in metros, retirement may now begin to take shape in Tier 2 cities. Less pollution, a little open space, manageable home cost, predictable monthly expenses, and a relatively calm life. All these together are attracting that generation which spent its working life inside the machinery of big cities. Now that same generation is saying that retirement is not the name of luxury, it is the name of relief. And many times relief is found not in the skyline, but in silence. So, is the era of Delhi, Mumbai, or Bengaluru over? Not at all. The healthcare depth, family proximity, airports, specialists, and urban comfort of big cities will still remain decisive factors for many people. But one thing has definitely changed. Now the default answer for retirement is no longer the metro. People are now looking at options, making spreadsheets, comparing costs, researching localities, and asking this question. Even if I did not earn there, can I live well there? That is the real change. Retirement is no longer becoming a status-driven decision, but a sustainability-driven decision.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible, but in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.